What about the issue of youth? The majority of the registered voters, the last time I checked, they're very young. They're below 35 years. And some of those that I have met, all of them, frankly, seem to want to vote for change.
That is interesting. Previous elections in Uganda have not been won by population demographics. They have been won by regional demographics. So you looked at where people are settled, are they rural or urban? This election largely seems to gravitate towards population and age demographics. You have 5.3 million voters that are fresh, that are new, they are young. They don't suffer the encumbrances of my generation that says, oh, there is no peace, there is no what. Those voters are not pegged to the peace of yesterday. They are pegged to jobs, they are pegged to social welfare, they are pegged to a living that they want to have that is better, that they see on TV, that they hear of their neighbors. They are not people like my mother.
Now, Livingstone, I was talking with one of my sisters downtown Kampala today, and I was asking her whether she was going to vote. And she told me that she is not going to vote because it will be a wastage of her time. Why do you think my sister would think like that? That her vote probably doesn't really mean anything, doesn't count.
Of course, despite the excitement we have alluded to, there are still people who really feel that the outcome is predetermined. They're informed by several factors. One of these factors is the fact that some of them have voted in the past and they have been frustrated in the sense that the services have not been delivered, the promises have not been adhered to, and they just don't feel really necessary to go out and vote. Secondly, there are also people who really think that by virtue of what is happening, I mean, what we have witnessed, sometimes the conduct of the security forces, the strong statements that have been made by various candidates to the effect that, well, I will not hand over power, or my business is not finished. They just don't feel like they need to go and cast their vote. It just doesn't matter. For the others, it is all about the conduct of the election. Do they really feel strongly that the process is smooth, fair, and transparent? These are people we just need to persuade. I hope my brother Shaka Ssali, you will go and convince her that the stakes are so high that she cannot actually afford not to vote. I wanted also to add something to what my brother Peter said about the fact that people are increasingly interested in voting. One particular segment of our society this time around, which one needs to watch, are the elites. In previous elections, they hardly voted. I think that's one group that really has always abstained from voting. But this time around, I have many friends. I don't know whether, Peter, you have the same case. I have many friends who have never voted in all the elections we have had, but this time around, they're already traveling back home to vote, which tells you that this time around, the thinking is different.
Are Ugandans citizens or subjects?
Oh, that is a multi-million-dollar question. Are they citizens or subjects? Ideally, they should be citizens. They belong to the republic of this country. They should own this country. The power should belong to them. But in practice, they seem to be more of subjects, because it is all about orders, it is all about handouts, it is all about predetermined decisions.
You mean they do not believe that they have constitutional rights, inalienable rights, birthrights?
Why would one, for example, abstain from voting? Because he doesn't feel that he has that right.
But you have a situation, for example, where President Yoweri Museveni, for example, says, I will not hand over power to my opponents because, in his view, they are not really equipped with the skills needed to run the state. He has been on record saying, my oil, my money, my army.
I think that speaks volumes as to whether they are actually citizens or subject. Who actually determines? The Constitution of Uganda, Article 1 says power belongs to the people. So whose oil is it? It should be for the Ugandans. Whose power is it? It is their power. But then if the leaders don't think like that, then of course they subject them to a lesser position in society.
I think, Shaka, on that, it is a question of civic awareness. The more you build civic awareness, the more people are able to stand and stamp their foot and reverberate against whoever leader. If the leaders realize that the citizens are unable to stand up for what they believe in, the leaders will occupy that space. No political space is granted. It has to be struggled for and earned. And I think in this particular election campaign, a lot of Ugandans are earning their space, they are stamping their foot. And I think slowly, it may not come today, but certainly there is space that has been earned, and the leaders will think again before saying, I totally own this space.
Perhaps beyond the whole question of civic competence, which he raises, we also need to take into account the poverty. You know, when people are poor,
you have 1 minute.
Even when they are conscious of their rights, sometimes they behave differently. They behave as if they don't own. So that also militates against the ability to own and to make decisions and to assert
in
themselves.
Uganda, the unique thing, it is the elite that are fairly more empowered, that are more subservient, that feel they actually are subjects of the state. They are earning, they are receiving arms from the state. It is the poor ones that stand up.
What about the issue of intimidation? We're talking about the police. We're talking about some elements within the military. We're talking about crime preventers.
Sure. I think the whole question of intimidation and harassment is real. Some may think it is passive, but I think it is real. What happened, for example, on Monday is quite regrettable. I do agree that candidates must adhere to the rules of the game. But that doesn't justify, under any circumstance, any disproportionate use of force, leading to loss of life. When people see life being lost, then definitely they get disempowered.
Well, I'm afraid, gentlemen, time happens not to be our best ally. So on that note, I would like to thank my co-host, Peter Kibazo, host of Face Off at Issues at Hand program here, WBS Television, and Dr. Livingstone Sewanyana, Director for Foundation for Human Rights Initiative. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.